Good morning. You are listening to National Real Estate Auction Radio. I am your host, Doug Dennison, and we are broadcasting from beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, the nation's oldest city at WFOY 1240 AM studios. Through the power of the Internet, this program is being streamed worldwide on 1240news.com. The show will also be archived on rawauctions.com, as they are the host of this program. Additionally, the show will be posted on youtube.com. We're going to be talking about real estate auctions, past auctions, upcoming auctions, different real estate markets across the country. We got a lot of topics today. In fact, we're going to be hearing from the Washington, D.C. area. We're going to be hearing from the Denver, Colorado area. And we're going to be hearing from the Florida Keys area. So, exciting stuff. Our radio show mission is to provide an educational experience for listeners in a promotional format for auctions across the country. Our listeners are basically real estate investors, real estate brokers, auctioneers, bankruptcy attorneys, government officials, real estate media, and, of course, the general public. So we're thrilled to be on the show every Friday. This is about a year. I'm going to have to check, but I'm thinking that our one-year anniversary is coming up, which I'm, again, thrilled to be talking to you and listening to your opinions about real estate auctions, the real estate market, and again, very exciting. We have been talking about what's happening in Washington, D.C. We're talking about federal surplus properties. We have had congressmen before on this show. We've had VIP real estate leaders across the country, people who have done auctions that are the largest in the history of the United States. And so this is what we do. We talk about the different types of auctions. An absolute auction where it sells no matter what the price. An auction that is with a reserve where it's a stated reserve and the stated reserve says we will sell if it goes above, let's say, $10 million. There's also an auction that is subject to the seller's confirmation, so that you would go to the auction and then the seller would decide if the high bid would be accepted or not. So those are the three different types. We work with real estate firms all across the country. And again, we make money with them. They make money with us. And they can learn how to find out about how to do that by giving me a call on my cell phone, 904-325-3020. 904-325-3020. Again, that's my personal cell phone. Our office number is 800-323-8388. So you can call me and ask about auctions, ask about the potential of an auction, how to work with sellers like the government, how to work with banks, how to work with bankruptcy courts. I would be glad to talk to you and maybe we can learn together. Again, I've got calls today from Washington, D.C. area, Denver area, and the Florida Keys area on a variety of topics. I think you'll find it interesting. And the important thing to know is that what we're trying to do on this show is to provide an education experience for listeners in a promotional format for auctions across the country. We are sponsored by rawauctions.com, and the telephone number for rawauctions.com again is 800-323-8388. We've got our first caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Yes, Richard?
Yes.
Hey, glad to have you on the show. Richard, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and where you're from.
Yes, be happy to. Basically, I'm a senior citizen that's been in the federal business for 45 years, unfortunately, at times. I say unfortunately. And my current company, I used to be a federal contractor and built a large federal contracting company and then sold it.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, I own FedMarket.com. That's FedMarket, FedMarket.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's 15 years old, and we do a wide range of things to assist people in winning federal contracts. Our market is mostly small businesses to medium size.
Mm-hmm.
The large federal contractors don't necessarily need us, although I occasionally work with them.
Mm-hmm.
But we write proposals for people. We assist them in finding sales leads. We do seminars and training. That's a broad view of what FedMarket.com does.
Well, very good. You've also, I'm looking at your bio here, sir, and you and I have never met, but I'm very happy to have you on the show. You have been an author, too. Tell us about some of the books that you've written.
Well, they're all listed at FedMarket.com. I have about 6 out, so I think I might bore the audience by giving them titles. They're, what my writings are pretty much noted for is that I take the attack that it's a great market to be in, but don't be deluded into the fact that it is a difficult market to crack and to enter.
Mm-hmm.
And takes lead time, aggressive sales, and focus and attention. And a lot of my counterparts that write in the field make it seem easy. And the feds themselves, the federal government,
right,
loves to tell people, "Oh, just come on in, register at our database, and then sit there and wait.
Right,
nothing will happen."
Well, the federal market, of course, is the biggest market in the world, basically, for the different jobs, and Fed market not only helps businesses contract with the federal government, but kind of hones their skills a little bit in regards to local markets and state governments too. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. The federal business in buying and purchasing runs on a set of dull regulations of 1,000 pages called the Federal Acquisition Regulations.
Yeah.
And every state and local government has a counterpart of it. And the underpinnings of everyone's regulations are we're spending taxpayers' money, so therefore we have to have competition. And so that whatever we teach on the federal level definitely applies to state and local.
Okay. And you talked a little bit about conferences. Do you have any upcoming conferences coming up that people could?
Oh yeah, we do several a week.
Okay.
And they're listed at FedMarket.com.
All right. Okay.
Just so the audience knows, we call them seminars. They're conferences, seminars, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They run from $350 up to, for multiple day stuff, several thousand.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do have 2 webinars out where you basically get online and you're talking with me for an hour and a half, and these are complimentary, and they're listed at FedMarket.com. And if anyone has any questions about them or wants to sign up, you can email me at rwhite, that's R for Richard, White, W-H-I-T-E, at FedMarket.com. And the 2 topics that we're currently running are how to get a GSA schedule, which is a pre-approved price list.
Mm-hmm.
I won't go into it any deeper than that. It's complex.
Right.
And federal proposal writing. since they're complementary, you can imagine the number of sign-ups I have.
Well, I am one of them, sir. I'm looking forward to it. I can't remember the date right now. I think it's the 1st of May. I believe it is. But
yeah.
Right. I'm going to be on that webinar and listen to you, and I'm very interested. My job through the last 25 years is in the auction business and the real estate auction business, and my job is to write proposals, and that could be for the government, that could be for banks, but I think we're all salesmen in one way or the other, and we've got to be able to convey what we do to the person who is interested in our services. So you've got a great business, and you can be a great help to many, many people. And my listeners, Richard, are auctioneers, real estate investors, real estate brokers, the general public, bankruptcy attorneys, real estate media. Everybody has to write a proposal in some fashion to get business. And so do you have any kind of, I know you've got 1,000 tips, but if you could generalize and give a quick summary of 3 or 4 tips that you might say would be important to a person like myself or another real estate broker that's trying to get a deal, what would you say?
Yeah. Well, real estate type work in the federal government is posted as public bids at fbo.gov. That's fbo.gov. That's the public bidding site.
Uh-huh.
And in my seminars, we couldn't go into it today in that level of depth, but in my seminars I teach there's other ways to get business, which are basically multi-vendor contracts or pre-approved price lists. Nonetheless, once you decide you're going to write a proposal, which is a complex process in itself, I guess the first tip is that the feds don't really read their proposals in the entirety. They hate puffery, where you're saying things like, my auction house has combined auctioneering experience of, 50 person years.
Yeah.
They call that self-serving,
Mm-hmm.
You just don't put sales puffery in. You basically have to get right to the point, clarity, simplicity, easy to read. They don't like fancy graphics and PDFs, and they're happy with Word. They just want the facts because they've got 20 proposals to read.
Yeah.
The other tip I would give is that, and this is the core of my webinar, is that a federal request for proposal, which is the legal document that you're responding to, say that was for an auction or whatever.
Yep.
You have to dissect the public document almost paragraph by paragraph to make sure that you're complying with everything in that document. And if you miss a point, they'll throw you in the no good pile when they're scanning these proposals. So quite frankly, proposal writing is somewhat of a game, and the core aspect of it in the federal government is to sell first and then write the proposal to something you've already sold. Just blind bidding is not a good idea, although occasionally there are exceptions.
You can go to Las Vegas too, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. I just got back from there and dropped 1,000.
Those are interesting comments. My company, RyalAuctions.com, is a member of MarkNet Alliance, which is a group of 50 auction firms across the country with 700 employees. Not every one of them is interested in federal business,
sure,
but they are very interested in if the local city, county, or state had some properties or actually personal property that they could kind of tap into. Do you have any hints for them? Because we're going to put this on their website so that all of these people can hear your comments, and my job is to help them get business. So do you have any, not on a federal level, but more on a local, state, county type of thing?
Right. No, they all, as you know, I'm not a auction or surplus property expert.
Right.
But I do know a little bit about it, bumping into it over the years. And
right.
basically what it boils down to is that one big trend in the federal government, I may be getting a little bit off, but I think it might be of interest to the audience, and that is reverse auctions, which is basically done through software.
Mm-hmm.
And the feds are I've heard figures up to 20% of buys are now done through reverse auctions at FedBizOps, or FBO.gov, the website I cited. All of the state and local governments have comparable websites where they're doing public bidding, and I'm sure they're getting into the reverse auction business as well. And that's an intriguing business. It's a business that the vendors or people like me or contractors don't particularly like.
Right.
And I actually thought about getting into the business, but there's some critical aspects of it, and if anyone's interested, they could just give me a call. And my phone number, by the way, is anyone wants to talk, is 301-908-0546. And the keys to getting into the reverse auction business, which I thought I might want to do through FedMarket,
mm-hmm.
is that you have to sell the agencies first. You can have the best software in the world that's going to drive the price down, but basically the agency has to analyze your software and agree. And I'm sure this is true at the state and local level as well.
Right.
And basically you sign a contract with them that you're going to do the reverse auctions for them. And it's quite complex, and it involves a proposal, just like everything else.
Sure.
Surplus property, I've been to govsales.gov, GOVSALES.gov, where most of the surplus property business in the federal government is done. And I don't, quite frankly, fully understand all the nuances of it. I'm sure state and local government have duplicates of it to some degree. The smaller, of course, the less sophisticated the website's going to be. But they all are using public procurement regs that are virtually identical, so
mm-hmm.
they basically have to do it on an open basis with supposed competition. Note I said supposed competition.
Richard, tell us, because the general public also listens to this, what is a reverse auction?
Reverse auction, that's a good point. Sometimes us nerds get a little technical, but reverse auction is where the agency, whether it be federal, state, or local,
mm-hmm.
has signed a contract with basically it's a software company that has reverse auction software, and they approve that software, and then they put it as part of their public bidding site. And so if you're looking at a procurement, a buy, if you will, to buy quantity X of product Y, if they decide they're going to do a reverse auction, you basically are seeing a database or software that says, okay, put your bid in. X people put the bids in, and they publish the bids so that they're driving the number down. It's just a classic auction.
Mm-hmm. Just the other way around.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right.
Got it. Well, I like the transparency part. I think auctions have done well for basically thousands of years because of the fact that it's transparent. Everybody sees, and it's changed from many years ago to now more of an internet setting, but the customer or the potential bidder wants to feel comfortable in the fact that they're bidding, what do they have to bid next. They have to understand the process.
Yeah,
and so
a little bit ticklish. You're absolutely correct.
Yep.
Yeah. And remember, I said, and this is the key to me in terms of reverse auctions. Remember that I said that the competition in the federal government, and this would be the same, state and local, competition is sometimes, actually most of the time, more appearance than it is real, except in reverse auctions. I mean, there's no way this is a true competition.
Right.
Whoever ends up driving down and providing the lowest prices is going to get the business. So it is truly open and competitive, and I see a trend more and more slowly towards that, federal, state, and local.
Right.
And the only bar to that is the red tape of getting approved as a reverse auctioneer, as a software package that you're going to let that agency use. And the second bar is that so much stuff is bought in the federal government that's not a commodity or a product that's specifically defined, so therefore a reverse auction doesn't work.
I got it.
Like a computer design project or something like that.
Again, as I said earlier, we're all salespeople in one fashion or another. Proposals, written proposals, are way many of us do business, and just not auctioneers and real estate people, but general public too. When they're selling their wares to somebody that wants them, many times they have to submit something, and if yours is better than the other party, not just in price, but in accentuating what you do and what you can do for the client, that's really important, and that's what you do. Give us your website one more time, Richard.
Yes, that's Fed Market, F-E-D, M-A-R-K-E-T, fedmarket.com.
And your telephone number one more time for people to contact you, because I've seen the different conferences. They're all across the country. I think there's people that are interested in maybe working with you and contacting you to find out when the next one is and going and hopefully learning something.
Yeah, great. That's, again, 301-908-0546. And my email, again, is R for Richard, W-H-I-T-E, at fedmarket.com.
Very good, Richard. I also want to compliment you on your staff. John Crawford contacted me originally, and he does very well for your business as a good representative of your company. Thank you, Richard, for being on the show. Enjoy your Friday, and I look forward to meeting you one day.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.